But if they change that system, how will I tell people about 10 things they missed from the new movies with red arrows everywhere to communicate it?
At least the red arrow is just a point at something. Now they don't even point at anything.
No, now they're just points. They're just arrows. They go nowhere.
It used to at least be like Spider-Man's mask, Now it's just like circle. Like that's a blank scene. What are we circling?
Yeah, it's just a circle.
YouTube does tend to blame everybody else for themselves. A lot of people are jumping ship to Twitch.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
We're here right now.
Yeah. If YouTube keeps screwing up, a lot more people will jump to Twitch.
Yeah.
I became a Twitch partner. I'm trying to build my Twitch presence.
Shut up, Joel, and welcome to the weekly poll.
You know what? That's fine. I'll accept that one. That one's fine. I was talking that time.
Funny sidebar on that whole thing. So we were doing the Comicstorian Weekly, which we do every Sunday, another podcast on this channel. And I was talking, and Dan interrupted me. And with that, he's like, "Shut up, Betty. It's time to start it." And I'm like, "Wow, that's kind of rude. I feel kind of burned."
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
Is this what it feels like? What have I become?
What have I been doing to Joel for 5 years? Anyway, guys, today we're going to be covering some Avengers spoilers. This is the weekly poll, a every other week podcast right here on the Eligible Monster Twitch channel, in which myself, Comicstorian, Rob from Comics Explained, Sal from Comic Pop, Tiffany from Comic Pop, and Joel from Caped Joel typically get together to discuss your favorite comic book and pop culture reference kind of things. And thank you so much for that subscription, John Apocalypse, 5 months in a row. Today is an off week. Normally we would be here last week and next week, but come on, guys, it's Avengers: Infinity War. We have to have an episode in which we're going to discuss it. So this is right here, right now, your spoiler warning. We are going to talk about it all. If you don't want spoilers for the Infinity War, you have about 5 minutes until I release the hounds known as Sal and Rob to talk about everything.
Yeah, definitely. If the title of the podcast was not enough to alert you to the fact that there are spoilers, we have spoilers in this podcast.
Yeah.
It's such a spoiler cast, we might just start spoiling other movies too, just because.
Yeah.
So this is literally, we are going ham. We have been censoring ourselves like crazy for the last, at least, I don't know about you guys, but I have for the last 4 days of streaming and everything. And thank you so much, John Mort Beard, for 4 months in a row, right here at the Twitch channel, the Weekly Poll, the Comicstorian Weekly, the whatever video game Benny's playing. Oh, and we have a new podcast too. Every Monday is the Appcast, where they talk about app games.
Ooh.
And Walking Bread has just resubscribed for 18 months in a row.
Wow. Splooge.
Wow.
Sorry, Walking Bread, my splooge is a little splooged out.
little depleted.
So I did our intro a little early. 1, so I could catch Joel off guard. 2, so that we are doing it before. So right in 3 minutes, right at 6 p.m. Eastern, we are going in. There's no holds bar. We're talking about it all. Theories, ideas, spoilers, Easter eggs. We're going to discover what Rob had for his snack in the movie theater. We're finding it all out. It's all spoiled.
I have popcorn like everybody else.
Nachos. But not movie nachos. I went to the place next door, got some nachos, came back. Everyone was jealous of them.
Did you shove them in your shirt?
Canada's such an amazing place. Yeah, you don't have to hide your nachos that you bring in. In America, they'll beat the shit out of you for bringing in food outside the theater.
No, I had a drawstring bag and one of those, white styrofoam things. I was respectful about it, but, game respected game for my nacho smuggling.
Our theater has gotten, thank you so much, Aeon Justice. Our theater has got these Nashville chicken sliders, which I really wanted, but we saw the movie at 8:30 in the morning. That is way too spicy for the morning for Benny.
Yes.
Nashville chicken in the morning communicates to the world that there's nothing you can do to me for the rest of the day that's as bad as what I'm about to do to myself.
Thank you so much, Sync MK. 5 months in a row.
Okay, so
What? Robbie broke up.
Splooge.
That's a broken splooge, but it works.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi and I have CenturyLink, so I'm really fucked.
Sorry.
I'm really fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is going to be the war. I'm saying it 1,000 times. It's going to be spoilers. It's going to be spoilers. You have 1 minute and the spoilers will commence. And that is an amazing spawn behind you.
Oh, thank you. That's Spawn 3.
Oh.
in the succession. I don't know. Anyway.
Spawn's back right now, and I guess he's getting new powers.
Oh.
That's in the solicits. He will be getting new powers and learning how to use them.
Well, since his powers were never defined in the first place, fine. Like,
is he going to have a solar flare, but he loses his necrotic powers for 24 hours afterwards?
right?
Oh, okay. Do you guys think they're going to bring that back?
No.
The solar flare?
I mean, they showed John can do it.
Have it. Yeah.
Same.
I think that'll be John's like one of his powers to differentiate him from his dad.
I can see
They
that.
keep alluding to it, that he gets it and he ends up destroying the future.
Yeah. Well, they're going to teach him how to use it so he doesn't destroy everything.
It's a shame that story looks like it's getting dropped because Tomasi isn't writing Super Sons, nor is he writing the Superman book anymore, and he seemed to be building up.
Shut
to
up,
something
Joel!
really
It's
big
6
with
p.m. Eastern! Red Skull's in the movie!
that. Damn it, you don't get to do it twice. But yeah, he is, and in a very cool way, too. I was not expecting that.
Oh, I doubled in.
That's also not Hugo Weaving. That's just an actor who's doing a really good Hugo Weaving
Yeah,
impression.
yeah. I actually looked up the actor. I don't even know who the hell that was, but it's definitely not him.
Yeah. I would have thought they would have gotten a problem, like they would have had an issue with the Writers Guild or with the Actors Guild, given the Crispin Glover Back to the Future 2 situation. Like,
What they do?
but apparently you can just pretend to be Hugo Weaving in your movie.
Okay, so I'll talk about that first because that's one of the biggest things. As a matter of fact, Rob even saw this one. The Friday evening, was it? No, Saturday morning, IGN put out an article. Red Skull is in the movie. It was like a public article. That was that not even. It was like we got it at a theater 3 hours earlier. They posted that video. How Red Skull is in the movie.
Lots of big sites and YouTube channels that shall remain nameless just being massively disrespectful with spoilers on this one. Come on, guys, be better.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, no, they definitely are.
Get clicks.
It's all about that last click. It's all Forbes and IGN screwed up. So that's what Socialist Borealis says. So let's answer that one first because the neighbors asked me, how is he back in the movie? And I had to explain, well, he didn't technically die. Like, he was just absorbed. That's how it is.
Got sucked into space.
Everybody made that assumption. They were like, everybody I know was like, yeah, Red Skull died. I'm like, yeah, no. Like, he's very clearly not. Like, he turns into energy, and then that energy shoots into the cosmos. That's not death. Like, no. Obadiah Stane in Iron Man 1 died because he's a dude who was electrocuted to death. That guy died. Red Skull was teleported. It was the space stone, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I thought it was Soul. It was Soul Stone.
No, Soul is what he was guarding.
Yeah, no, but he
Space Stone blasted him to.
cosmic.
Okay, that's weird. I didn't think the stones worked together like that.
They don't, unless somebody's using one on the Infinity Gauntlet. That's how it's weird to say that he was like yanked into space and then somehow ended up, because they never connect that. It's just like I held one of the Infinity Stones once, and now I'm here, and they never tell you how he got there. They just tell you that he's there.
Maybe they'll explain it in a tie-in somewhere in one of the other movies. He clearly had adventures to get from where he was. To
Yeah,
where
but
he was.
I think we're never going to find anything. I think this was to shut everyone's theory up that Red Skull was going to be a part of something because Hugo Weaving left, and they're like, we're not doing that anymore. He's gone. Like,
well, Neon Justice had a really cool idea. He's like, he got yanked through a portal with the Space Stone. That's true, and maybe he did end up with the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Well, because I didn't hear you say that. Well, then because the stones do want to like be connected, like they want to be together with the Infinity Gauntlet. Assuming they grab that from the comics and roll it over. So
God only knows.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's cool to have Red Skull back because they're basically they're pointing at the sign and being like, "Hey guys, Red Skull's a thing again. He was guarding the Soul Stone. Now he's not. He can be a villain in Captain America again."
I'm telling you, I don't think we'll ever see him again. I think this was literally to shut every theory up and be like, "Look, we lost Hugo Weaving. We're not doing him again. This is where he is. Captain America will never go to this planet."
Yeah, I could see it being one or the other. Like, literally, they could be like, no, we set it up. If people really respond to it, the fact is, they didn't get a big lawsuit from Hugo Weaving, so clearly they're allowed to sound like him.
Yeah.
And since Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't care about accents, like as actors continue to move through their movies, they ditch whatever accent grounded them in wherever they came from. So, like,
he definitely sounded far less German in this one.
Yes. Yeah, he sounded more Hugo Weaving and less like German version of Hugo Weaving. But
less schedules, less vitamins.
Because they don't need him, because they're like, well, we got a guy who costs a lot less, who is not having a problem putting on the prosthetics. Red Skull could come back, or people would be satisfied with him just being in this cool cameo. I think either way it works.
What would you rather have, Rob? Would you rather have him back as like the next? Are we even going to get another Captain America with the way Chris Evans acts towards his contract?
There's nothing to indicate a Captain America 4. Like, they haven't said it, they haven't teased it, no, nothing.
But we're probably going to get one, and it's probably going to be Bucky as Cap, and they're probably going to do that stuff.
See, that makes sense to me. Like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. But no, I mean, somebody made a really good point. He's been in space for 90 years. Maybe he just lost his accent. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to make it make sense. But, no, I don't know. I think they're going to treat him like the Unseen, like Nick Fury. Where
he looked like the Unseen, didn't he?
He did look like the Unseen. Yeah, like he'll just never show up again. Like, we'll never see. I mean, you've seen Nick Fury a couple times, but like, I think Benny's right. I think it's just kind of a way to say like, hey, so here's what happened to Red Skull. Done. And that's
right.
it.
Yeah, asking.
Well, because I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the super MCU aficionado. I don't look for every single Easter egg, but I'm pretty sure that is the most outrageous of the loose plot threads we've had left hanging in the MCU. The other one of which being where are the Infinity Stones, and they kind of covered that up by being like, all those crazy powerful things we were using, Infinity Stones.
It was that, and it was also what happened to the Abomination and what happened to the leader who got created in Incredible Hulk, but they don't own all the rights to the Hulk, so we don't care what happened to the Hulk.
That would require anybody to ask those questions, which thankfully no one has bothered to yet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Black Mage 8-Bit, 22 months in a row.
Wow. You get one splooge. Because I'm not splooging 22 times. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of weird and it is kind of wild because it's like, because the Infinity Stones aren't the Dragon Balls, right? It's not like the Infinity Gauntlet gets destroyed and the gems just like disperse.
That was what I was joking about. I was like, the Dragon Balls. Now that the Infinity Stones, like, all right, let's get them together, make a wish.
They all disperse across the cosmos, and they have the Infinity Stone tracker, and they track them down with the help of Bulma. Like, no, it's not like that.
Man, that's the pitch for the sequel right there. Tony spent all that time building a tracking device for it.
That would be awesome. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool things they could do, like spin out the Illuminati from Infinity War if they wanted to.
Yeah. Well, okay, I wanted to talk about another thing. Okay, I wanted to specify this, and everyone who had the Weekly Poll will know this. I was right. I said that they were going to open up with Xandar being destroyed. Now, it counts even though it was off screen. They did mention it right away. I was right.
I like that. The most important part of this podcast, I'd like to remind everybody that Benny was right. If you walk away with nothing, walk away with remembering that I was right.
I was right. I called the beginning of this movie. Now, I wanted to ask your guys' opinion on this. Since we know Xandar was destroyed, I personally feel like that would have been a stronger opening to show the power of Thanos than him just stomping on Loki.
Especially not having any stones in his possession.
Yeah.
And like wrecking the entirety of Xandar and then taking the Power Stone. That would be nuts.
Having him ruin the happy ending of Thor Ragnarok, I thought was a nice way to get the ball rolling, connect this movie to that movie, and also be like, hey, we're not just killing a bunch of nameless Nova guys, we're actually killing people you know and like.
Yeah.
I like this. Longtar says hashtag Benny was kind of right.
Also, having Xandar and the Nova Corps decimated means that when they eventually getting around to doing a Nova movie, they can justify being like, yeah, we needed to go on a recruitment drive. We recruited a human, this Dick Rider guy.
Dick Rider.
I still say they go with Sam Alexander.
I think it's going to be that they're going to tie it in where it's like, no, there was a human Nova. He had a son. He's going to get bequeathed the helmet, and then he'll be the last Nova. It'll be like a Green Lantern kind of twist.
I'm cool with that too.
That's what I think they'll do. Instead of going the full Sam Alexander father thing, they'll just say like he was part of the Nova Corps that was destroyed in Infinity War.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
My daddy died in this big war with a purple prune.
yeah, the purple prune man killed the shit out of him and everyone else.
Yep, the nutsack chin.
Okay, so
hey, Grimace.
I wanted that to be known that I was right. So anyway, there's two big things I wanted to talk about. Okay, and these are big things that the MCU is we know has changed a lot of things around. Now, I wanted to get your guys' opinion because at the beginning we see this change happening. The Hulk change in general. How he's turning from being this crazy guy that could go World War Hulk and fought the Abomination to a jokey, goofy guy in Thor Ragnarok to we don't get the Hulk.
It was fine. I was totally fine with that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really a big Hulk fan, but like I've been digging what they've been doing, and the idea that like Thanos like bitch slaps the Hulk into back into Banner, and he's like, I'm not coming out. I'm not the strongest one there is. Like, turns out I'm not invincible. I like that idea. Like, I like the idea that the Hulk is afraid for once, and I thought that was really cool.
What if it turns out he's not afraid? He's just like, oh, I got hemorrhoids, can't come out.
I find that hard to believe that's going to be what the plot point for the next movie. But
Gamma-roids.
I do think, but I dig it. I'm down. Like, I like what they did. I was not like missing the Hulk. I think it was fine. It was like there were so many characters already. We also got a really cool Thanos versus Hulk fight.
Yeah, we
that
did.
Looked really dope.
Yeah,
and so I wasn't. What did we need? I didn't need to see the Hulk like tear up Outriders. We had plenty of characters that did that anyway.
It was a nice balance too, because you figure we got so much more Hulk than Banner in Ragnarok. I like this one flipped the script and it's like, you know what? Now we're gonna let Ruffalo just walk around and be himself and get more Banner than Hulk.
Yeah.
I did like seeing Banner. I liked Banner's attitude. I liked the little arguments. I'm a little concerned because they said that we're going to get 3 Hulk movies, but they're going to be put into other movies, basically, so that they can tell the story of the Hulk without giving him a movie because of the Universal rights. And I'm worried that, like, this little bit we got, that's movie 2, guys.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is. I think movie 2 is that the Hulk is afraid.
Can General Ross be the villain in one of those movies? That was one of the only things that disappointed me. Ross is chewing out the Avengers. They turn him off. They swipe left on him just in time for Banner to show, like, no, Ross needs to see Banner, though.
I missed that. I missed that so bad. I was like, come on. Because that's the one thing I really wanted to see in Civil War when he's like, do you know where Thor is? What about Banner? And I'm like, Ross, like you were, okay, first of all, you were in the first Hulk movie. Secondly, like, Ross should be irrationally angry about the Hulk at all times. So, like, I would love to see him kind of, like, lose his shit when it comes to the subject of the Hulk, where he's like, no, I don't like the Avengers. You recruited Banner. I want to see that.
The man I hate who sexed my daughter, who we're also not going to talk about.
He spoiled my daughter, who's been, we have no idea what she's been doing. Like, she's been sitting around eating bonbons, watching The View. Putting on 50 pounds. We have no idea. What
Betty comes back like a 500-pound. She's on a 600-pound life. I got all the love I want now.
Hey, Hulk. I haven't seen you in so long, Hulk.
But it's still Liv Tyler. She really method acts for this part. Like, she goes there.
Cryptic Legends, thank you for that 5 months in a row.
Thank you.
Splooge. Cryptic Legends 7. Splooge.
So, okay. I mean, there's so much to talk about with this. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, how do you feel about the changes to Thanos? Because in my opinion, and I've talked to a few people, and they have agreed with me, so that means that I'm right. In my opinion, the movie isn't really about the Avengers. It's about Thanos. And the Avengers are there.
He gets the most complete arc. He gets the most focus. He even gets the final shot in the movie. And what a final shot it is.
Yes, but they very heavily edited all of his motivations.
Yeah. Worked great.
Do you like it better? Because I would have preferred the whole Mistress Death, even if it was just implied that he's doing this just for death. We don't even have the Mistress part. He's just like, I'm praising the god of death or something like that.
Yeah, they chucked that right out the window. And you could tell that Whedon set it up to be about death, and then they were like, no, it's not. It's about conservation. I liked it. I liked it because it gave Thanos a motivation that was sympathetic and like emotionally gratifying. Like, you could actually get into Thanos as a character. You could understand him. It wasn't just like when you're fighting Thanos and it's Starlin's Thanos, he's just like, I need to do this because like part of me believes in nothing and the other part of me is in love with this like entity that doesn't love me back. And it's like, yeah, that's cool and it works. But number one, I've seen it. Number two, it's kind of one-dimensional. And so I'd take what they did in this movie. It also allowed Brolin to act instead of just Thanos is very stoic. He's very one-dimensional. I do this one thing and I don't show emotion. I'm limitlessly powerful. Even when I don't have the gauntlet, I'm still super powerful. Like, the guy, he's unrelatable, and this version of him was way more sympathetic. You can connect with that character more.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and it fits the movie
in,
universe real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like here in northern Colorado, with it being as populated as it is, I would love the gauntlet and just wipe out half the population here. Yeah, just be like, okay, half of you guys are gone because you're gumming up the streets.
See, I actually disagree with that, though. I find comic Thanos more three-dimensional than what we got. I felt like this version was, I lost half my world, now I'm going to make the universe suffer, kind of a situation, or I'm going to save everyone. Either way, he was very direct, like, I'm going to kill everyone because I lost my world and no one listened to me. While in the comic books, I feel it's more like, well, I'm the child of the gods, and I have this entire history with the Celestials and the entities and the Eternals, and I'm going to gain all this power, and I'm going to sacrifice them all to death, and while I want her, she doesn't love me back, but she's also manipulating me at the same time, and...
Mm-hmm. That all works in the comics. I'm happy with this.
It does, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about this version of Thanos, is that by starting him off this way, they actually have places to go with him and places to grow with him. He could become that guy later down the line, because here's the thing. Everyone loves Thanos. Everyone's talking about Thanos. If Marvel's smart, don't get rid of Thanos. Let's have Thanos imperative down the line. Let's have all these other Thanos-heavy stories later in the universe if you want to future-proof this shit,
no,
and I
no.
think you do.
No, they're gonna kill him.
Oh, yeah.
Thanos is gonna die at the end of Avengers 4. That's the Marvel way. Like, kill off all the good villains so you don't have anything to work with later on. Like, that's the Marvel pattern.
I think that was why Red Skull was such a loose end, because he's the only one that didn't technically die. Yeah. Everyone's like, you didn't kill him, so when's he coming back?
Him and Hammer were the only two.
Yeah.
And even then, Hammer was a comedy villain.
Oh yeah, Zemo killed himself.
One of my favorite villains.
I thought Zemo got captured, but he killed himself, didn't he?
No, he's
alive.
He's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's alive.
He's just nowhere near. He's just nowhere near as scary as he was.
Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just floating around. Baron Zemo, I think, was actually one of the coolest villains they ever made.
He was.
But yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence about Thanos because I'm kind of in between you guys. On one part, I do understand the idea that it's like, we're just going to call half a life in the universe because it's only a matter before you guys screw it all up. And two, but it's also like, but he's literally just a dude who's like he's literally in love with a dead, like literally a dead woman. So like and that.
You ever seen Lovely Bones?
Yeah, lovely Mrs. Bones. Yeah, no, I mean that works. Like, I mean, either way, they could make it either way. Honestly, what I think the problem was when it came to Thanos was he was really underpowered.
Well, that's the entire MCU.
Yeah, like he beat the Incredible Hulk without the Power Stone, which is cool in and of itself. But like half those fights that happened with the Infinity Gauntlet should have ended like that. Like none of them should have like the fight on
the way that he ended it should have been most of his actual fights.
Yeah, the fight on Titan, that fight should have been like 3 seconds long.
Oh yeah,
like I mean, none of those should have been as complicated as long as, especially with the Reality Stone. Like none of those fights should have been as long stretched as they were. But then again, like I mean,
and cruel though, and he wants to torture the hero.
But the reason Titan lasted so long though is they and you can correct me if I'm wrong in this because I'm pretty sure this is a change, but I might be wrong. You know a lot more about these stones. He doesn't need to close his hand to use the powers in the comics. He could just use them.
Yeah, he just uses
them.
Yeah.
Like that was the weakness they gave him. He has to close his hand. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, none of those things. All he has to do is just think about what he wants to do and like it happens. But yeah, no, I mean it's the problem with like if they had taken the Infinity Gauntlet story basically and they had said, okay, like the power of the Infinity Gauntlet in that story, we're going to apply that power to comic book form with all the fights. That movie would have been half an hour long. Exactly. Like it would not have been that long. Like because everything would have been, and it would have been more dialogue than it already was.
Yeah.
And people want to go see Infinity War because they just want to see things get screwed up. They just want to see how bad things will get, which they got really bad. But like they want to see how bad things can get. So I understand where they're coming from because it is basically an action movie.
Yeah. No, but it's 100% action.
Yeah, I'm just kind of nitpicking at small things. I mean, all in all, Thanos was entertaining and he was cool. He did seem more human. Like I go with Sal on that one. He did seem more human because of like what he said and what he believed and that kind of stuff. But I don't really like seeing soft Thanos. I'm Thanos and you have to believe me when I say that I'm doing the right thing. It's like, maybe he is doing the right thing. Like I want to see Thanos where it's just like, and now you're all gonna die. Like that's.
It's like we've had so many Destroyer of Worlds villains, even just in the MCU itself. I can appreciate them trying something a little bit different. Also, Gamora got a great arc in this, didn't she, in relation to Thanos? God. Gamora was arguably underserved in the other two Guardians movies, but here they really do a lot with her.
Yeah.
Well, I actually feel like there was almost 4 different movies happening in this movie.
Oh, no doubt.
Like we had the buddies going for like the stolen gold kind of a thing, like the treasure hunt, and and you had the goofy Thor, raccoon, and tree. This is it. This is my friend. He's a tree. I love that.
Rabbit.
Rabbit. We had like a treasure hunt going on. We had the stranded out in space story arc with Spider-Man and Tony and Doctor Strange. On top of that, we also had the building for the final fight kind of movie going on with Cap and Wakanda and all that other stuff. And the whole, we can't give up our friends, even though we could have stopped this whole thing if we just get rid of Vision. But whatever.
Yeah. I would have given him up. I would have been like, he's right here, man.
Yeah.
Rob, sell around of the human race.
Got it. Make sure we don't team up with Rob if we're defending the Infinity Stones.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me tell you something, man. It's like 7 billion people or you. Like, well, I'm sorry about your luck.
And then we had the movie about a man's obsession and the things he loses to get it, with the loss of his daughter and everything like that, through Thanos. And that's like, that was one, like, I enjoyed that, but that was one problem I had. I felt like it was 4 completely different movies slammed together instead of just one giant. It was like 4 movies who come together for the ending.
I like that though. It didn't feel like Iron Man and Thanos. Like, it didn't feel like an Iron Man and Thanos movie. Because it would have been very easy to give like Iron Man all this screen time because he's so popular. But literally, it seemed like everybody got equal screen time except for Thanos. He got the most. Yeah. And I actually like that. I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, it's a movie about Thanos.
Reading a comic book event. Like, it actually felt like reading the event. Like, okay, well, I'm really interested in this story. I'll skip a couple pages. I don't have to read that one.
Yeah, actually, we because I'm on one of the medications I'm on, makes you pee a lot, especially when I first take it.
Thanks.
No, we saw. What I want to say is we saw it in the movie. So, of course, in the morning, I'm having to race to the bathroom. So, little trick for you, if you're looking for bathroom breaks, every time they switch scenes, you have 5 minutes of them talking before the cool shit happens again. That's when you go pee.
Good advice.
But yeah, I mean, there was some, like, and that's the cool thing about Infinity War is they leave things open. Like Mjolnir will come back, but Thor has Stormbreaker. So what do they do with Stormbreaker? Well, you introduce Beta Ray Bill and just say he's one of the people on the worlds that have their population was destroyed by Thanos. Done. Now you got Beta Ray Bill. Like, I mean, there's a ton of things that you can do, like, to spin stuff out of that. And that's what's so awesome is they set plot threads for so much stuff that can come after Infinity War. But
well, do you think they're going to, or do you think we're just going to have the heroes get the gauntlet, Nebula fixes everything, and it's over?
Yeah, I think they're going to. I mean, you can't, like with this movie, like, people are going to go into Infinity War and Avengers 4, and the number one question after Avengers 4 is going to be, well, what next?
Yeah.
Like what are they? That's going to be the question. Like, what comes after Avengers 4?
We're already asking that.
Yeah, people are already asking like what comes after this. And so like from there, then you start getting into like, okay, what plot threads did they lay down? That's why you can launch Nova Corps out of that. You can, and even then, like with this, in Avengers 4, you can start bringing in like small time ancillary heroes, give them like a minute of screen time, or even then in Avengers 4, because they can basically go through and say, okay, like what's the tally? Are there any people out there we can recruit to our cause? Well, Moon Knight's dead, and this character's dead, and that character's dead. Yeah, the Defenders.
Defenders all disappeared. Problem solved.
Coulson, maybe.
But that's the thing. You can turn a scene from Avengers 4 into the cover of Days of Future Past, where it's just like, here's all the heroes who are dead, and so like they exist, they're there. And like at the end of Avengers 4, whoever it is, Nebula, Captain America, Spider-Man, whatever, grabs the Infinity Gauntlet, fixes everything, and so like they're going to show up.
I'm glad you mentioned Days of Future Past too, because obviously as comic fans, we know they got to put the genie back in the bottle. They got to rewrite the universe and bring back most of the people who died. Wouldn't it be funny if, with the help of the Gauntlet, hey, mutants exist now, or maybe they always did, and the Fantastic Four are here now, and maybe they always did. Thanks, Gauntlet.
Yeah,
I mean, they could do that without the Gauntlet, I think. I mean,
I'm sure they could.
When we get to the point where we talk about speculation about Phase 4 or whatever, we'll get into the Fox properties, because I think that's where we might go. But I was thinking about the villains issue and the will they won't they when it comes to the Holy Trinity of the Avengers in the MCU.
Thank you, doggy.
I noticed that Chris Evans has been playing it kind of like close to the chest on the in the interviews, but I've noticed that unlike Affleck, who was like, yeah, maybe, like you can tell he's totally checked out, Evans is like, well, all I can tell you is the contract's up. Like, like he's playing the money game. Like, if you pay me this much, I'll definitely be Captain America again. I feel like it would be cool to to move on and be like, okay, Phase 4, we're gonna do new properties. But it'd be really kind of fun if, like, after Avengers 4, they go like, let everything be as it was, or like we fix everything, blah blah blah, and like, they undo a bunch of deaths. And they re-upped the like Hemsworth, Evans, Downey contract for at least one more movie per franchise, and go like, no, we're once more around the merry-go-round. Let's do this. And like,
Victory lap.
We get a new Abomination, friggin' like Red Skull's back, like Ironmonger's still alive. Just bring back everything and just
Masters of Evil.
Yeah, bring up like the Masters of Evil or
Masters of Evil,
or Thunderbolts. Maybe Ross finally gets pissed off and puts together a team of anti-heroes called the Thunderbolts.
You could do a Thunderbolts. Awesome. Pretty much, yeah.
Could Bucky lead it?
By Hammer, that's run by Ross. That'd be really cool.
Zemo could lead it. Ross could go to Zemo and be like, "Hey, man, you kicked their fucking asses. You're pretty sweet, man. You want some super drugs and a purple ski mask and a sword? I have those things."
Yeah, they're sitting right over here, like they're from the comic. Like I could.
What comic, Ross? What are you talking about?
I mean, that would definitely work. Like I could honestly, if they decide, if let's say for example, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. and all those guys, Chris Hemsworth are like, okay, look, I'll come back, but I want a break for like this next phase. Then just like Crisis on Infinite Earths, just like throw them in a paradise dimension, like just throw them in Soul World. And just be like, they're in Soul World now, and they sacrifice themselves to save the day. Yeah. And like they're there for like all of Phase 4. And
so what? So they're gonna come back in 5 years? Wow, you all aged pretty well.
I mean, literally, like some crazy. Like I mean, there's okay. Think about it this way. So Infinity War, Avengers 4 happens. Avengers 4 ends. The Illuminati forms. Captain America and them don't want to be a part. Like they don't want to come back. They want to stay in the Paradise Dimension, or I'm sorry, in the Soul World, because all the greatest things. Thor gets to be with Odin, and I get to be with my brother. Blah 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 blah. And so they're sitting in Soul World, and like the Illuminati just like disperses the gems. All right. Then like some crazy thing happens, and like shit pops off, and they're like, we need Cap. So
like the planet's gonna get eaten.
Or something, yeah, like the planet gets eaten. Yeah, Galactus hungers, and like they're like, we need Cap or somebody. Like we need Cap, we need Thor, we need like all hands on deck, And so they go into Soul World, and they're like, you have to come back. And so Cap's like, okay, fine, they're paying me enough, I'll come back. And like he comes back into the MCU.
Maybe he'll get to direct one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways. You
don't even need to put him in a Paradise Dimension. Friggin' Tony retires like he does after every movie.
He really does.
Like go off. You take the Tiffany idea, which she suggested, where you send Captain America back in time. He lives in the 40s with what's her name?
Peggy Carter.
Peggy. And Thor rebuilds Asgard and he rules it. Like they just go to their movies and there just aren't sequels for them.
Yeah, just like Asgard's just floating in Oklahoma. Like, man, does anybody know how to get a hold of Thor? It's like, no, like everybody who goes to Broxton, Oklahoma dies. Like nobody ever comes back, so we don't send people there anymore. Like, they get beat to death.
Yeah, but I guess we should stick to the movie and our spoilers for it. What were some of your moments that made you actually go that made you break your usual movie-going experience and either clap, laugh, or audibly gasp or yell in the theater?
The Return of Red Skull.
That's a good one. Yeah. My favorite thing is that last 5 minutes where they cut all the music out, really let the severity of the situation ruminate. Yeah. The children cry, the adults are like, what? And I'm like, this is great. I love this. This is a great
They should have played Dust in the Wind, is what they should have done.
No, okay. I will say what was so surprising. Some of the heroes who died.
Yeah.
Like, that's what blew me away. I was like, okay, so he's going to snap his fingers and half-life the universe is going to die, except for the heroes who matter. And, like, everybody else is going to die. But, like, Spider-Man's gone.
Oh, his was the worst, because I'm like, aren't they all dying instantly? Why is he in pain? Why is he in pain?
I just Spider-Man gets a few extra minutes.
My comment section was loaded. There's at least 13 comments that say his spider sense went off that told him that he was dying before he even started dying. So that is a good one.
I'm dying. I like
that. And so that's why he gets a few extra minutes.
That makes sense too, because he wasn't like Dusty, but he knew.
But he knew.
Yeah.
And they that's the cleverness about that movie, is that they set things up in the beginning of that movie and pay off those moments.
Yeah, he had a spider sense moment. Although I don't know why he just looked out the window, but he had a spider sense
without him saying spider sense or anything. It was just, we get it. Like the hair stand up and we know that spider sense. And then subtly he says like, I don't want to die, and you know he's dying because of the spider sense going off. I'm like, wow, the Russos really know how to make a movie. Way to go, guys.
Hell yeah, they do.
Or it could just be that they're like, people are just like, so is that what happened with Spider-Man? They're like, yeah, that's what happened with Spider-Man.
We didn't want to just have a touching moment with him and Tony.
Like,
yeah. No, I mean that was so shocking to me because basically everybody but the original Avengers are dead.
right.
And it's like, damn, like they killed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's what blew me away because now see that's why I tell people like Infinity War like just destroyed my expectations for like what Avengers 4 is going to be because I'm like, okay, so it'll just be like Captain America marshaling all the superheroes and like they'll try to fight Thanos, but it's like 6 guys.
Yeah.
So it's like they're going to have to bring in a whole host of other people and no way Carol Danvers can take on Thanos by herself.
Oh no.
So I'm just like, man,
I really hope they don't overpower her now. Like, she shows up and saves the day. I know she's got crazy powers, but, like, as far as I can remember, she can't one-shot Thanos.
There's no way they're going to do that because the major players who made it were the people who are probably going to leave after this franchise is over.
All the people whose contracts are up soon.
So, like, it actually makes sense if, like, the Avengers who started this whole thing rally together and go like, well, I guess this is just going to be us again, like it was in the beginning, and then go to it. I do think that we are going to get a kind of, not Age of Ultron the movie, but Age of Ultron the comic, where like it's just this splintered forces, the world's in chaos, half the council of holograms is dead, so like no one knows what's going on, and so you got Cap and Iron Man and Thor and whoever else is left, and they're just like. And you got that moment of Cap, like, just sitting there and his suit's all tattered and he's just, like, put his head in his hands. And Tony's like, I need a plan, Cap. And Cap's like, I'm thinking. And, just everything's wrecked. And then the plan is time travel, just like in Age of Ultron. And they send Ant-Man back or something.
Do you think they'll do a time jump? Because I know they talked about they already cast Ant-Man's daughter. Wouldn't it be funny you open up on Avengers 4 5 years in the future?
Oh, that would be a real punch in the nose. Yeah.
That'd actually be pretty amazing. Like, I don't know.
They're already ballsy enough to end it like this with no indication that this next one's going to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it'll definitely be fixed. But
we know that.
That's the thing. That's the thing about Carol Danvers. If they grab Carol Danvers and she's Captain Marvel as she looks from right now in Marvel Comics with like the binary powers, then she could probably give Thanos a run for his money. Right. But like if it's just like Carol Danvers as she exists now, then no, like she's not that strong. But again, I mean, they could change that. They could just make her just like super OP in the movie. I don't know. I mean, either way, here's my biggest question is like, who's going to marshal the superheroes and like, how are they going to win? There's only 2 circumstances in which they can win. One is that snapping his fingers and destroying half the life in the universe, like irrevocably either destroy the Infinity Gauntlet or like severely reduce it in power, which is kind of weird because then they're not Infinity Stones. They're Infinity Stones up to this point, they're just like finite stones. So that takes away from the entire purpose of Infinity Stones because they don't have unlimited power. Either that or maybe they'll bring in cosmic entities. I don't know. But that was the whole thing. Like Thanos lost because he got arrogant and Nebula stole the gauntlet from him. But there's no indication that like he would lose his mind and just become drunk with power because they haven't established that as being like a core part of his character. It'd be a total 180 from what they've built so far.
Yeah.
So, real quick, because a couple of guys in the chat, I saw this comment, but they're like, "There's no more movies planned after Avengers 4, just Ant-Man and Captain Marvel." No, they've said that they're going to be going. They've said they got this planned out until 2025. 25?
Yeah.
They've got it planned out. So and Spider-Man 2 has already been announced. It just doesn't have a date.
Just because there's none announced doesn't mean there's not a whiteboard somewhere in the Disney offices.
Yeah, they're just keeping mums on it because they're keeping quiet on it, which is why Spider-Man 2 doesn't have a definitive date, and neither does Black Panther 2, because they want you to think they're all dead right now.
Right.
Well, they're also doing their big Phase 4 announcement, like either before or after Avengers 4. It's around the time of Avengers 4. So I don't know, but again, they're also bringing in the Eternals. Yeah, like Tevye said, like they like Feige said, like we want to do a movie about the Eternals, which I'm actually kind of happy because if they grab the Eternals and threw them in Infinity War, then the heroes would actually stand a chance. But like at the moment, no, I don't. That's why it's so amazing to me because it's like 3/4 of the superhero community as we've seen them in the MCU are gone.
Yeah.
And it's like I have no clue how in the hell they're going to end this.
I liked the quick take on the double take on the Black Panther kill, where it looks like he's going to. I always forget the bodyguard's name, but like she's gonna die, and he vanishes trying to get to her. That was one of the more amazing deaths, I thought.
So sad.
Yeah, I never saw him dying. Like I never saw Black Panther dying. I'm just like,
not after his movie made box office there.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question that I would ask you guys then. Do you think they're dead, or do you think they got like whisked off to Soul World?
Yeah, I think they're dead.
I think
they got deleted.
Me too.
I think
they're gone.
They're in the recycling bin until you hit restore with the Infinity Gauntlet and get them all back.
Yeah,
that's true.
Now, here's the question I have for you to counter to that, though. Are we going to get the ones not affected by that back? So, a Vision, he wasn't affected by the stones. Loki wasn't affected by the stones. Heimdall, not affected by the stones. Just dead.
But
don't
they're also
know.
as guardians and can reincarnate, though. Hey, we died, but we're back, though, in younger, newer bodies.
Yeah,
it is true. The ones who died are as guardians and an android.
Right. Who can be rebuilt and look like anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Vision 2.0, now played by a new actor.
And Gamora. Yeah, Tony Greta. Well, Gamora is kind of attached to the... We know what happened to her. She's in Soul World. That's... she's not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't... Okay, Sal, you might dig this. I imagine what them doing with Vision is bringing him back, and he's like all-white Vision.
Yes.
He's like...
the fact that he turned monochromatic, I'm like, hey, we're gonna get all white Vision.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping. He just all those memories and all those emotions are gone.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Witch is like, but don't you love me? He's like, I don't know who you are. Bye.
Yeah,
and then just
bye.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's what's
actually,
so cool.
Master Rand says it best. Vision died twice.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But
That's
I don't
rough.
know. I mean, there's like for example, I could see Black Panther's sister becoming the new Black Panther. Like that would be interesting,
especially if we do a time jump.
Yeah.
They've been training her.
With the time jump, you could do a lot of that. Actually, you could bring in all kinds of different characters.
You could do
Here's
that,
young
and
Avengers,
you could still
everybody.
bring them all back because I mean, you didn't pay these people to just be background characters forever. So you could easily go like, oh, here's Shuri as Black Panther, and then in Black Panther 2, okay, well now that we fixed time, you got it again, T'Challa. You know, like
Exactly.
You get to have your cake and eat it too in a really interesting way if they do choose to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys about this because I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days. What do you guys think about the Black Order?
I thought they were really cool henchmen.
henchmen, exactly. They for such amazing characters, like some of the few characters that have actually got them fleshed out to where I like them, to see them barely not even get names. Only like 2 of them even got mentioned by name. Ruined it for me a little.
I like them. I just don't like the movie's not about them.
No.
So I'm not like I didn't feel like we got like really gypped. It's more like at least they weren't Chitauri. You know, like I'm happy with
personality.
them. They were distinct. They had personality, and I'm sure there were deleted scenes that fleshed out like Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive's romance. But like, who cares? Like, I'm not here to see them grow as people. They have had their time. They are here to be objects of conflict for our heroes, and it was cool. Like, Ebony Maw was reduced to a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah,
but
he was.
And it worked, so I'm cool with it. You know, like
you see that old movie Aliens?
Yeah. No, I mean, okay, but like there were things they could like. Okay, Xandar, for example.
Yes.
Like if they had shown the Xandar scene, then like you have Corvus Glaive show up as like a herald of Thanos.
I'm disappointed we didn't get that.
That's probably a deleted scene.
Well, and you literally just get like the Infinity thing. It's like, well, my master just asked a tribute. You know, like all we want is the Infinity Stone. Like, give us what we want, and we will go away. And they're like, well, we're not giving it to you. It's like, well, then you're all going to die. And like Thanos just comes descending down and he just kills everybody. Yeah. I mean, like they could have done. I mean, I'm not asking for like 20 minutes of origin on each of the members of the Black Order, but there are things like Ebony Maw. Like I think what made Ebony Maw cool was he had no powers. He could just like talk you into doing things that you didn't want to do. And like that's what I think made him awesome. Like if he had turned Doctor Strange against like Iron Man and whoever in the hell else was there, Spider-Man, like that would have been cool. Like that would have been interesting. Like because then it's like, damn, like this guy can just like swindle the Sorcerer Supreme into just doing things like that. I think because in the movie he was just a telekinetic.
He's a space wizard.
Yeah, like he was Jean Grey, and it's like, okay. I mean, I guess that's cool. I guess But like, I mean, okay. And here's the thing, Sal, I don't know if you remember this. I was thinking about this. I thought about you in this scene when he's like chasing Doctor Strange through the city. In the old Tick TV show, there was this villain that had a helmet and like he yanked a motor on it.
Yes.
And he would he would go through it just like that.
Yeah, that was Mr. Mental. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Mental. Yeah, just like that. I was like, he looks like Mr. Mental, like tearing through the city. Like it's like moved the exact same way, And it was, but again, like it's stuff like that. I mean, it's not a huge deal. That's kind of nitpicky. But I thought what made the Black Order so cool was that they each seemed almost as dangerous as Thanos.
Yes.
So that's why. That's kind of why I like them.
They seem to manage. It was only when they like nerfed Ebony Maw out the window, which I still like that scene, that I went, oh, okay, they're not going to carry over to the next movie.
No. Like I was hoping Ebony Maw was going to land on the planet. And be like, oh, you thought you removed me. And they'd be like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah, dude, pull a Star Killer and just like yank down the ship onto the planet. That'd be nuts.
Seeing them two work as a unit was nice because that further plays into what I'm hoping for Phase 4, and that is, hey, can we have an evil team? You guys proved that an evil team working together against the Avengers looks really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. How about that scene where Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight were kicking ass, and then out of nowhere, Black Widow slides in and with one slash removes Corvus Glaive?
Yeah.
Can we just call bullshit that for 2 seconds?
Yeah, okay. I mean, my problem, my issue with the Black Order in general was that at the end of the day, and I remember Tiffany had this issue too, but I remember having the exact same thought at the same time. I'm sure we had Okoye and Black Widow fighting Proxima Midnight. Must it be a cat fight? Like, Proxima Midnight's cool on her own. Like, couldn't they have circumvented some expectations by having Proxima Midnight fight Captain America and like Black Panther and had Corvus Glaive fight the ladies? I don't know. It just felt like, well, we can't show the men fighting the girl. We got to show all the girls punching each other. I was just kind of like, at one point I went, really? We did that? Like, I hate when that happens.
Well, I didn't get very much male gaze from it until you brought it up, but I guess it makes sense. Like I viewed it
Proxima
more like,
Midnight was hot.
Cool women we got in this, guys. But now that you say it, I'm like,
I liked the weird head tumor thing.
Like, I honestly don't even think it was really a problem. I was kind of like, oh, it's too bad. Like, I would have liked to have seen Cap fight Proxima Midnight on there. I don't like when they go, oh, well, like, okay, Poison Ivy's here and Batman can't punch her because she's a lady. Like.
Yeah, I mean that would have been interesting to see Proxima Midnight. Like if Proxima Midnight fought like Black Panther and Captain America and defeated them both, and then like went on, like that would have been like, damn, she's badass. Like that would have been cool.
Not now. Benny always likes CG girls. That sounds like Benny likes CG girls now. That's not new.
She got killed by a war wheel. That was pretty awesome. Don't you love that Marvel beat DC to having war wheels?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you bring in these characters who have basically accompanied Thanos in like wrecking destroying the entire Asgardian civilization, what's left of it, and like destroying the entire Nova Corps, and then she gets killed by like a giant wheel, and it's like how big of a letdown is that? Like that to me was kind of like things like that were kind of disappointing. But again, I mean, I guess I do kind of agree with Sal that the story wasn't really about them, and Marvel's always struggled with making like compelling villains last any measure of time. It's always been like let's just write this in a way where the heroes win. Who really cares? The heroes win, and like that's kind of one of the things I run into.
Yeah, man, Killmonger's great. He's dead. Man, Ego's great. He's gone now.
Okay.
I mean,
it goes the same way.
Yeah, Killmonger. Come on, I want him to stay. Anyway, he even made they even made a deal to like, we could jail you up and it'll be great. And I'm thinking that would be great because that's a sequel. And he's like, no. Then I'm just a slave again. And I'm like, but you make more movies if you're alive.
But it was cool-ass death.
Yeah, Killmonger was amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
He was an awesome villain.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Okay. Yeah. So, Sol is Barriola said the end credits even said Thanos will return instead of a hero. That's what I said. The movie was about Thanos. It wasn't about the heroes. The heroes are just there for the ride. I wanted to bring up two things before we even start winding this down, though. One, did you guys see the New Yorker article that everyone's freaking out about? There's a New Yorker article that basically said that the movie was horrible because nobody got any explanation, and it was a giant trailer for the other Avengers movies.
Oh yeah, shut up.
Like, I honestly I prefer that Because you're not going to go into Infinity War, and if you didn't watch some of the movies, well, you didn't watch some of the movies. But we don't need to explain everyone. We don't need Thor to land. Well, he's the son of Odin and the king of Asgard, and
we got a lot of that anyway. We got a complete summarization of Guardians 2, which, by the way, is too bad because go see Guardians 2 then.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he piss and moan about James Bond movies or Indiana Jones movies or any long-running series with multiple sequels.
Well, that's why. I get where New York is coming from. If you haven't seen any of the movies, but nobody went into Infinity War having not seen any of the other movies in the most successful film franchise. In history. The MCU is the most successful film franchise in history. I would say it outweighs Star Wars in terms of the amount of success, the amount of build-up, the amount of development. It did beat it, yeah. So it's I
will put a caveat to that.
The
weird. Only people I can see who went to go see Infinity War and have not seen a single other movie did not go because I want to see Infinity War. They went with somebody else who wanted to see it and knew what the stuff was.
Or they were film critics who were looking to complain about something.
Yeah,
that too. Yeah. Or James Cameron complaining about shit as well.
Wait, what did he complain about?
He's complaining that nobody cares about his cats.
Yes, no one's caring about my blue cat movies anymore. Also, Bruce Campbell said that Avengers movies were the death of screen acting. Whoa, Bruce Campbell. I know your new show just got canceled, but take it back a little bit. You're many great things. I wouldn't call you an amazing actor, though. You're really good at playing Bruce Campbell.
That's of all the people to say that it killed the screen. What the hell? You realize
Bruce Campbell, just work on making a show that doesn't get canceled, and then start talking about acting, do that, and then start talking about acting.
That's true.
The other thing I wanted to ask, because everyone has to have something. Give me at least one complaint about Infinity War. So I'll
complaining this whole show.
No, I mean legit problem with it. I did not like this to the point of it was for me the biggest issue I had with it is there was nothing unexpected in that movie. Everything was in the trailers. Everything led to what we needed to happen. There was no surprises.
I thought there was a lot of unexpected stuff too.
Me too.
Yeah.
I found all of it. I expected, other than the list of who died at the very end, everything in that was okay, yeah, I see that happening. That's not.
I feel a lot of they buried the lead with the trailers a lot. They showed you the first basically 10 minutes of the movie, but otherwise it was pretty close to the chest.
Yeah, I didn't expect Loki to die. I expected a lot of the Asgardians. I expected Loki to be on the verge of death or to join Thanos, but I didn't expect him to die. I didn't expect Red Skull to come back. I didn't expect half the superheroes who died. I didn't expect to die. I didn't expect to see Thanos cry.
Yeah, no, didn't expect either.
I'll give you that one. I was not expecting a cry scene from Thanos.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see Thanos single-handedly crush the Hulk without using the Power Stone.
In the first 5 minutes.
Matt Young. I think my problem with the Red Skull thing is it doesn't mean anything. It didn't go anywhere. It hasn't led to him returning. It was nothing more than a 3-minute cameo.
Yeah, Benny knew Red Skull was going to come back.
No, but what I'm saying is, what does it matter? What does it change?
You needed someone there, and it might as well have been the Red Skull.
Yeah, that's it. It didn't mean anything. So, what is there surprising about it? Red Skull's back. Okay,
yeah, that's it.
That's it. And he's not even really back. He's trapped on that planet out in the middle of nowhere. You know,
not anymore.
He can float and has intangibility. He could probably find a way off there. I mean, how did a Hulk get on Sakaar in a Quinjet? There's a lot of there's a lot
of off screen.
The power of imagination.
But no, I mean that's why I like they did the movie the way they did. For example, Drax is half the population of my planet was destroyed. Maybe they were, but maybe your daughter's alive. And maybe she was taken by the father of Thanos.
Yeah, and maybe her name's Moondragon.
Maybe her name's Moondragon.
Let me rephrase what I'll say. That
she's gonna kick your ass. I don't know.
Let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase what I was saying. That what I mean by not being surprised is the methods in which we got to everything. Yes, some of that was Red Skull's back. Okay, cool. Oh, these heroes are dead. Okay, cool. But the end goals that we achieved were all what I was expecting. Let me phrase it in that way. Yes, some of how we got there was a little surprising, but. Vision as the Mind Stone. That's where the Last Stand is going to take place. Okay, Corvus Escape breaking in. Didn't see that coming, but I did foresee Vision having to hit the battlefield at some point. You know, that's what I mean. Where we ended up is what I was expecting.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at the movie in terms of how it progressed, I can see what you're saying.
Okay, thank you. The way I phrased that, you're right. Okay, I didn't see Tony Stark coming back or meeting up with Spider-Man. You know, I didn't see any the actual scenes happening. You're right. I didn't foresee that. I didn't see Loki's death. As a matter of fact, out of all of the death theories we had, I don't think any of us said Loki.
No. And that's the thing. Like it may be one of those situations where not everything we saw is what we expected. Like just because Doctor Strange's physical body died doesn't mean his spirit didn't take off.
Yeah,
you know, and be like, we got to rally all the cosmic entities because
I didn't even think about astral projection.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that could, because if the Living Tribunal, if they have the staff of the Living Tribunal, then maybe it exists, and maybe
they clearly know about them.
They know about him, and so either it's just called that for the sake of ceremony, or the Living Tribunal's there. And so if it is maybe Doctor Strange is the one that calls a conference and says we need to you need to step in and stop this, and the Living Tribunal's like, nope. I'm not going to.
I mean,
Living Tribunal, I've come to parlay. No, seriously, this time.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, the weekly poll as a whole, even if it was in a joking sense, we foretold the exact ending of that movie. I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact that we had all said that there was going to be a snap of the fingers, half the universe is going to be gone, and I'm pretty sure Joel said that we're going to get Farmer Thanos.
Yeah.
I did not think they were going to snap the fingers. I thought that because in the trailer Gamora said he could do it, that was our homage to what would happen in the movie, in the story. But it wasn't going to literally be him snapping his fingers, and I was totally wrong about that.
Oh no, I was on board. I was like, no, there's no way they're going to end this movie with him not snapping his fingers. That's going to happen. He's going to destroy half the life. I didn't see half those superheroes dying. That's what threw me off.
Yeah, I didn't see the group they killed. Ones. I did love Thor coming in for that final Hail Mary, and then Thanos.
Oh, that was awesome.
The line for that, you should have gone for the head. Oh my God. And you're also right, Thor. You're shitty at aiming.
Or at the very least, you should have gone for the forearms and cut the gauntlet off him.
Yeah. No, I mean that. Okay, that was cool because Thor became Ultimate Thor basically.
Yeah,
became Ultimate Universe Thor, and that was cool looking. That was
also, Peter Dinklage got to be big. We didn't mention
that.
That was
funny.
Fun.
It looked awkward as shit.
Look, I thought it was pretty cool actually.
Yeah,
they cast him as a dwarf, and he got to be big. That's nice.
Yeah. It's kind of weird that Nidavellir is basically just a giant space station. Yeah, that's kind of weird to me. But still,
isn't it an entire realm in the comics?
Yeah, it's a planet.
Okay,
it's a whole realm and a planet with forests and shit.
Maybe there was a planet behind it you didn't see.
Maybe, I don't know.
Also, all the dwarves are dead.
Yeah, it was. The movie was definitely enjoyable. I mean, but like I said, it's destroyed any guesswork on my end on what could possibly happen in Avengers 4. I mean, hell, for all we know, Bruce Banner could be like, "Oh, Thanos killed Betty Ross," and Hulk just turns into World War Hulk and just starts just going berserk. I have no idea.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I give it. It's definitely not my favorite MCU movie, but I definitely rate it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was great. It hit all the points I wanted it to see. I love the fact that it got right to the action. We didn't waste time doing a lot of explanations. I love that there was no giant farm scene or no scene where Thanos gave his backstory for 30 minutes. I love that we got his story pieced over the multiple scenes of the movie. I love that the movie started within 5 minutes. I even loved one of my favorite sequences was when they were like, "Tony, you need to call Cap," and I was like, "All right, great. This is gonna be 20 minutes of the two of them going back and forth, and they're gonna work out their differences, and they're gonna agree to fight." Oh no, Thanos is here!
Yeah.
We can talk about Tony's flip phone too. Have those come back in vogue now?
No, that was the one that Cap gave him. That's why he was
it was a burner phone. That was the point. That's why it had one number in it too.
Right. But, I mean, and that's kind of the cool thing is it could just be that Infinity War is just kind of here's kind of a taste of what you're going to see in Avengers 4. And Avengers 4 may give us stuff where it's this massive, huge battle, and Thanos is literally just throwing people through time. Because looking at how we use the Infinity Stones, they weren't used very effectively. I'm like, man, Thanos is kind of a dumbass when it comes to using the Infinity Stones. Like it's like you literally have the Reality Stone and the Space Stone. Just throw them to like the other side of the universe or something, or just like make everybody believe they're in a place that they're not. Like I mean, because Thanos showing up on Earth with the Time Stone, I'm like, you have the Reality Stone. Just make them all believe that you're not there and like everything's okay. And then just walk up to Vision and just take the stone. Yeah, like in the movie. And it's like, I mean, I could have thought of like 1,000 different ways to use the Infinity Stones more effectively when I was watching that. I was like, I mean, like,
well,
make them all see
you're more creative
different.
than Thanos.
Then. Yeah, because Thanos is not very creative and kind of an idiot. And so I was like, all right.
Thanos has never read a comic in his life. That's the problem.
How do you feel about them using Star-Lord as the reason why we didn't stop him?
I felt that was kind of cheap. I felt like it was just a cheap way to like keep Spider-Man from like ending the movie that easily. So like
I think it fits into his character, his fear of loss. He didn't want to lose another family member. He's a bit of a hothead dumbass anyway.
Yeah. I was fine with it.
Yeah. I'm being a fan of Guardians. I don't like that they made them all really dumb. Like no longer do we have anyone that knew what the hell they were doing on the Guardians, except for Gamora, and she was gone pretty early.
Yeah.
I'm invisible.
I'm invisible. I'm moving.
I mean, I was sitting in the theater watching that, and I mean, because I knew he was going to throw her in as soon as it was like a soul for the soul stone. I was like, okay, so Gamora's going to die, and but I was sitting there, I was like, how is she going to die? And it's like the saddest thing ever because she's like begging for her life, and he just grabs her and just throws her in. Now, comic book Thanos would have just been like, fuck it, and just like grabbed her and throw her into the thing.
Oh, he would have crushed her skull. Yeah,
that would have been the end of it. But like that, it was a pretty sad scene. Like it was pretty wild. That and the scene when she was a little girl and they massacred half the population.
Oh yeah,
her. That was pretty rough. I was like, damn, Thanos. Like that, I think was probably one of the most cold-hearted things about his character.
It really was.
Like, see that right there, I think is like classic Thanos. Just like, no, don't look at all these people that I'm having massacred. Mm-hmm. Like, just focus on this little thing, so I can teach you to be an assassin. But like, I don't. It was cool. Gamora, I think is good. Not Gamora. I think Nebula's. I think they're going with Nebula. I was thinking about that. The whole idea that she was being tortured and like all the hatred she has for Thanos. And I think she's going to be the one. I think they're going to have her sane and rational because she's not twisted and mangled up like she was in the comic. So I think she's going to be sane and rational. I think she's going to get the gauntlet and then just be totally overwhelmed by it. And then like, cool. Yeah, and then maybe like Thanos like has to team up with them to stop him because I mean that I think would be a cool twist.
The fact that we got Farmer Thanos and the finger snapping means not only do they read Infinity Gauntlet, but they liked it.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're onto something. Like now I'm starting to think like a lot of Starlinisms are going to be in this next movie. Like maybe Nebula will be the one who says like let it be as it was 5 years ago or however long the time jump will be. Like, you know what I mean? I think I think you're going to see that.
Also, to see the continued growth of Thanos, where it's like he had this one singular goal to delete half the universe, which he accomplished. Then he retired at the end. Is he still evil now? Because he did the thing.
He'll be evil. Like, you know, he like when the Avengers show up and start like kicking in his door, he's gonna be like, like he's gonna freak out.
Why are you back? I won. Yeah.
No, but that's the cool thing is if they keep Thanos alive, there's a lot they can do with him. Like maybe Thanos dies, goes to the realm of Mistress Death, and that's when he falls in love with her. You know, and like he's like, I'm in love with the idea, and then he just becomes a nihilist.
I saw the face of death, and I was in love.
Yeah, and I was in love. I mean, there's a lot of things they can. That's the cool thing. This is his first appearance, really, in like a film with any measure of development. So there's a lot of things they could do with him in the future. I'm terrified that they're going to kill him off because that's the Marvel way. Yeah, I really hope they don't. But
when you have a universe with gems that can change reality, no death is permanent, and so like you could just have. I mean. They could grow Thanos into the Starlin Thanos, who's like, no, I accomplished my goal and it didn't matter. So now I believe in nothing. And then he meets Hela and it's like, oh, and you're like, okay, there you go. Now you got stoic, like no nonsense Thanos who would never cry, you know, but like he could die. I mean, he died at the end of Infinity Gauntlet, and that's where we get Farmer Thanos. So like there's a lot of ways you could kill Thanos and then have him. He could be trapped in the Soul Stone for all we know. I mean, like you could swap him out for Magus and make the antagonist of some other Starlin adaptation that you could do down the line.
Supposedly Adam Warlock was supposed to be in the original script for this one, but they took him out. They felt he deserved his own movie.
Okay. James Gunn has gone on the record for stating that Adam Warlock is not there because he is a part of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and he's a part of the James Gunn vision for what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean that whole plot is basically going to be like the Fantastic Four Enclave story with the Guardians. Like that's all that's going to be. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean the stones have broken before, guys, sure, but that was them trying to push away a universe.
Yeah,
it wasn't snapping their fingers and wiping out half the life. So I mean there is kind of a huge difference there. But I don't know. I mean either way, like that's what I love so much about Infinity War is I have no earthly clue what to expect about Avengers 4.
Feels
if I had
good,
walked away,
yeah.
It does feel good. If I had walked away and I'd have been like, okay, so we pretty much know what's going to happen in Avengers 4, like it'd almost be a little disappointing because it would be like, I mean, I'm going to go see it, but it's like, there's nothing to speculate on. Like, there's nothing to think about and ponder and wonder what's going to happen next. Thanos could become a good guy because Nebula goes crazy when she gets the gauntlet, or they all just fight Thanos and it's a standard, hero fare movie and Thanos is defeated and they win. Like,
that's what I think's going to happen. Calling it now.
So, I think Captain America is going to be the one to like end the conflict, like Adam Warlock did.
That's a good image.
If everything gets fixed, I think Captain America will be the one to do it.
And if that ends up being his last one for real, that would be a hell of a send-off for Chris Evans.
Yeah. I mean,
let the conflict end and let my contract end.
I mean, I agree. I have no idea what's going to happen in Avengers 4. I can't even speculate outside, unless they follow the direct comic book thing, which I don't think they will. Won't. Because we've already lost half of the reasoning behind everything.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just making up topics and shit. And just saying, like, Avengers 4. And I'm like, this might happen, guys. That might happen. Who the hell knows?
Every month, I'm going to make a video going over Avengers 4 rumors and see how this works. We're going to try this.
Yeah. It's worked well for me so far.
But before we go, I want to continue my campaign. Before we wrap this up, I do want to continue my campaign. Everyone, please tweet Sal and Tiffany as much as you can and say, Sal, Tiffany and Benny want to do the Supernatural podcast with you. We need to get Sal on board with this, guys. We got to get him started. Me and Tiffany want to watch Supernatural as an excuse. Sal needs to experience it, okay?
Yeah, it's a war of attrition.
Yeah. We will wear down the battlefront that is the Sal, okay?
Nah, man. Trying to get Sal to do that, that's like, fighting in Russia in the wintertime. It's just not We're
working on it. But don't forget, guys, this podcast does happen every other week. We will be back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to go over whatever came out. We already talked about a few things we were probably going to be discussing about next week. I already forgot what those were. But you can find Rob over at Comics Explained doing all kinds of Avengers 4 theories and throwing out all of his Avengers-related content. Sal's over there doing all of his Avenger 4 spoiler talk, and I think he did Wolverine and Aliens today. They're talking about that book over there. Sal's cooking food, I think. I don't know. I mean, Joel's cooking food. I don't know what Joel does.
I mean, we're always cooking food. I have to
check his
eat 3
Instagram.
times
Yeah, check his Instagram. Yeah. He's got latest food up there.
Please do. Check that and my nice haircuts.
Joel, I don't even know if I'm following you on Instagram.
You should start.
And I need to.
And over on Comicstorian this week, of course, you're going to get more Marvel. We got Hulk versus Thor. We got Spider-Man coming out. We got the Death of Thor starting up, things along those lines. And you can also check back on this Twitch channel, this very Twitch channel, on Sunday for Comicstorian Weekly. It's a review show in which we talk about the comic books that came out this week. Yeah, that's the show, guys.
Nailed it.
Do any of us have plans for Free Comic Book Day? Because I figure now that we're live,
when is that? I was seeing all this.
Yeah,
Saturday in May. This Saturday.
No one hit me up to come to their comic book shop this time. Looking at you, Jason. Anyway.
Oh, I am following you, Joel. Okay, cool.
Right on.
Anyway, yes, we're going to have the Sal Pernatural podcast. Just guys, keep tweeting him. If you keep tweeting Sal, eventually he has to give in. His one weakness is peer pressure.
It's like
peer pressure before.
It's like a change.org petition. Like,
right?
If enough people sign it.
Yes. Make a change.org petition. Sal, how many signatures do we need on a change.org petition to get you to watch Supernatural with me and Tiffany?
I don't know.
That's
got to be a lot more than the
awesome
tweets I got. I've got, 2? So I think we're okay.
No, okay. So if I could get 100 signatures?
I don't know. That it would have to be. It would have to be worth your while. Like, you know what I mean? If no one listens to the show, it's not. There's no point in making it.
It's to make it because we enjoy watching you suffer.
I don't want to watch Supernatural if it's for like the 3 people who like that.
Okay,
show.
so what you need is a guaranteed 50 people watching it. 100 people. What's the number?
I don't know. I don't know what a successful podcast listening base is.
I mean, we have 330 people right now watching us talk about Avengers.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Supernatural.
If we started talking about Supernatural and did Scooby-Doo crossovers, I'm sure most of those people would leave.
All right. I'm going to figure this house out, and we're going back to this. Everyone tweet him. Let's get that change.org rolling. And Alan Scott.
Alan Scott.
Yeah.